Before we go to commercial, we're also going to have Roddy's son, Colt Tunes, joining us after this. Tag, you're it. Hello.
How's it going, guys?
Good. Who's this?
This is Nick Sanchez.
Nick Sanchez, how you doing?
Good, man, good. And this is definitely the best tag radio show I have heard since the beginning.
Oh, thank you.
Roddy, you were one of my favorites growing up, man. I'm 37 years old, man, and
Thank you.
And watching you when I was growing up, it was beautiful.
You sound, in spite of me, like you grew up just fine. as much as I tried to corrupt you all, you know.
Piper's Pit, man, that was the best little segment on all the wrestling shows ever, man. That's some good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank you very much. The first Piper's Pit. I tell you how I got that show is. I'm sorry. Did you have a question?
Oh no, go ahead.
I didn't mean to do. I was in a bar in St. Louis with Vince McMahon Jr. Vince McMahon Sr. hired me. And there was all these renegades that would cross all promotion lines and break all the rules. And so I'm watching it, and Orndorff, and Schultz, and Morocco, and they're all killing these guys on TV. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if they're going to see me wrestle, they're going to have to pay. So I said to McMahon, I said, you give me a bow tie and mic stand in 5 weeks. If I don't get the job done, I'm out of here. And the next TV, the Piper's Pit that we all know, was there. And all of a sudden I went, well, what am I going to do? And I didn't know who my first guy was going to be, and it turned out to be a guy named Frankie Williams. God bless Frankie Williams. And so what are you going to say? So you think about it. What would you say? You got a microphone, there's Frankie Williams, and it's live television. I'm not sure if it was live or not, to be honest with you. I think it might be pre-recorded. So I said, so where are you from? Frankie says, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. That's Frankie Williams was the only Puerto Rican gentleman I know that had freckles. And if he had said, I rode over from San Juan to New York and I made my way to Columbus. But when he said that set the whole pace. Because Frankie Williams needs the credit for Piper's Pit. Because once he said that, then I crossed, there were some very strict rules. And I said to him, you're a nice guy, but you never won a match, you're a lousy wrestler. Well, about 10 years before that, I said about Paul Jones in Charlotte, North Carolina. He was older, and I said, every time Paul Jones passes a cemetery, two guys chase him with shovels. And Paul Jones took me aside for 30 minutes and explained to me why that, first of all, wasn't funny and it didn't draw any money. So when I had done that to Frankie Williams and said, you're a nice guy, but you never won a match, Frankie got hot. And the camera guy was and I pushed him through the curtain, and he came back out like the alien. He was going to get his first win. But in any case, and that's what I think, I had to nail him. And turned to the camera and said, every time you got all the answers, I change the questions. And thank God to Frankie Williams. That set the tone for Piper's Pit. There was no script. There was no. I didn't even know who was going to be on it. I'd do three a day in Poughkeepsie, once every 3 weeks. And after a while, guys didn't want to come on it. Like this guy, Uncle Elmer, who was, I think, Jake Roberts' father.
Big boy.
Big boy. And so he came in with all these. I'm not sure if he's Jake Roberts' father or not. He came in with all these phony Rolexes, knockoffs. And all the wrestlers, him. And it's about 2 weeks later, every wrestler had a Rolex. But it had a 5-day warranty, so it was...
Wasn't he Hillbilly Jim's uncle?
Pardon me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hillbilly Jim's uncle.
That's him.
And Cousin Junior with the mule kick. Yeah, I remember them guys. All right, Nick, you got something else for Roddy?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, what the difference was between having a McMahon Sr. and then McMahon Jr. taking over the reins of wrestling. And, what the difference was, between how Senior ran it and how it's being run now, and when Junior took over.
Well, I just in simplicity.
Thanks for the question, Nick. I'll let Roddy answer.
Hey, take care, guys.
Hey, thanks, Nick. In simplicity, there was a, it's a very tough business run by a lot of tough guys, and there was territories. It was very territorial, and Vince McMahon Sr. Honored that. Vince McMahon Sr.'s territory would come from probably up to Philadelphia down to just before Norfolk, I guess. what do you call it in Washington? The
Mid-Atlantic or something?
yeah, but that Sky. What's the big arena in Washington? Or Washington D.C. That didn't matter. Anyway, down to Washington D.C. and then Crockett would pick it up from like Norfolk down to about Columbia, South Carolina. Then Barnett would pick it up in Atlanta, and then Graham would pick it up down to Florida. Well, Senior still abided by those rules. Junior started it, and they wanted to take over the world. And I was told about it rather in about 1982 when Jim Barnett was going to attempt it. And then it didn't happen until '84, so I already knew what was going on anyway.
All right, perfect.
Now, do you get along with Vince right now?
Right now I am, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, because you're working for him and stuff. But I mean, those guys. I mean, I have bosses that have me working for him. I can't stand, and it's just how it is. I mean,
we have a common ground that we do respect each other, but we get in some terrible fights, man. And I've gone, we had a lot of guys that were passed. All my brothers were passing away, and I went on HBO, and I talked on there. I got fired. I'm probably the most fired wrestler too. But he's hey, he did. You cannot take credit away from him for what he's done with wrestling. It's the biggest traveling show in the world, and it's $1 billion company. I get hot when they don't take care of the boys. That's when I get angry. I don't know, man. It's kind of like a wife at 26. My wife and I have been together 26 years, I don't know, sometimes we love, sometimes we hate. Very fine line, very fine line. But I did an interview a couple of weeks ago, and I got a standing ovation. I don't know why.
well, part of it too with there's a lot more draw and people paying attention now, especially the older wrestlers, because the wrestler just came out, Mickey Rourke, and he did such a great job with that movie that
he did.
People forget that you guys are, when you're done, what are you doing? And they're like, look, we're not done. We're done because the crowd stopped cheering, and that's why we're kind of sitting off on the side. If we can get the crowd to cheer again, we're back.
Yeah.
And people start to remember, especially guys my age. I'm 36. I'm for sure the guys are 34 and a little bit older. One of the callers was 37, has called in, and some of the other guys are in their 40s. They followed your whole career. So these are guys that were like, we're kind of wondering, where have our heroes gone? We're almost in a time now where there's no heroes left. There's no Hulk Hogan's, I'm taking my vitamins. There's none of that left, and not just in pro wrestling, but you're looking at like, A-Rod, I didn't do it. Okay, I did it. Well, come on, man, he's supposed to be one of the best players out there. And then it's like our heroes have kind of left the game because the society has changed. Things have changed, so we're kind of nostalgic about. Where are they, Andre the Giants? And now all of a sudden his biography comes on the Bio Channel all the time. And I've seen it 4 times. I watch it again.
Yeah.
Every single time it comes on, I watch it again. It's like, why am I watching this for the 4th time? This is kind of stupid. Well, because he was one of my heroes, and it's kind of like you kind of do that. And when I was so excited, because I got the call late, come up there and you got to come up to do the Fight Sport event with Matt Lindland. We usually come and be the commentator. Okay, no problem. Because I left from there, went right to TNA. I was late for a TNA gig too, so I was scrambling. Yeah. And they're like, when I was up there, they're like, yeah, Roddy Piper's son's fighting. I'm like, I don't give a shit about him. Is Roddy in the crowd? That's what I want to know. I was like, I don't care about that. These guys are 14 years old. Screw them.
Yeah.
I want to know where my hero is. And so it's like a lot of guys will start paying attention to you guys more and more now because the heroes are dead. We really have no heroes at our age. Like, who are we looking up to? I mean, Obama's our next hero. Yeah. Bush wasn't our hero. Clinton kind of was a hero, but not really. Yeah. He became more of a hero when he got caught putting cigars in weird places. Then all of a sudden we're like, okay, he's more of a hero. But we've kind of lost our guys. Like, really, if you sit down and think about it, my age group, and everybody in here but Goze and Jenny, who are still 12 years old each. But everyone else in here can look around and go, who we actually look up to right now. Like, who do we look up to at all? You might look up to a whole sports team, like Manchester United or something, but it's not one guy. You go, what? I really like that guy. I really enjoy that one cat. That no matter where he goes, I'm following him. Even Johnny Martin switched from the Yankees to the Sox, and everyone stopped following him. But he was their hero when he was at the Yankees. When he went
Johnny
to
Damon.
Johnny
Damon Martin.
That fucking guy. When he left, everyone hated him. It's like, well, he was your hero when he was there. And when he's gone, he should still be your hero when he's on a different team. We don't have those guys anymore. They kind of, no matter where they go, we still love them. And it's kind of like you're one of those guys. And no matter where you go, we still love you. It doesn't make us different. So that's where I got the standing ovation. That, and I paid 5 guys in the front crowd.
God bless you.
All right, we're gonna take a